Hey guys, this is Max Finn. Welcome to another paid traffic tip of the day. Today's paid traffic tip number 12. So we are at 12 days of tips and they're just getting better. At least I hope they're getting better, right? I'd like to think that they're improving each day. We've had a bunch of good ones though. Even the first one was a great one. So in one of the previous tips, I'm drawing a blank on which exact tip it was, we talked about personalization, right? How important it is to kind of weave in some elements of personal identifiers in your ad copy, in your creative. And that video is really about cold traffic, right? How do I get somebody that's never heard of me before to pay attention to my ad in the feed? And one of the easiest ways to do that, obviously, is to have elements in that ad that person scrolling through feels like you're speaking to them, right? Whether it's a word or an image or a sound, whatever it might be, something that they feel, hey, this is something I identify as, right? Whether it was their age or their a medical condition they had, a sports team they like, whatever it might be, something that tied in, right? Well, today's video, I want to talk about what happens after that first click, right? Specifically with retargeting, okay? So I think retargeting is one of those things where we, there's a common saying and phrase, I'm going to butcher it, right? This is not the exact phrase, but basically the gist of it is that success can be one of your worst enemies, right? That the more successful you are, the kind of more complacent you get, right? So it's, hey, things are going really well right now. I'm making a lot of money. My ROAS is really good. My ROI is really good. So I'm going to push a little less hard, right? I'm not going to give it as much energy. When we're running a cold traffic campaign, when things aren't working, we're in there, we're testing, we're trying, we're busting our ass because nothing's working. We're not making money. We're losing money, right? And so there's this need, this kind of survival instinct that kicks in. We're like, hey, we need to make this work, and we're going to throw everything we can to get it to work. That passion, that fire, a lot of people lose that once things start going well, and I'm guilty of that as well. There's a lot of campaigns in the past that I've run where, hey, it was making a lot of money, it was doing so well, and I could have made a lot more money, but I kind of took my foot off the gas, right? Because it's like, hey, this is doing really well. I have other things I can spend my time on, right? Why would I want to make it better when it's already doing well enough, right? Why would I want to take the conversion rate from 6% to 7% when it makes a lot of money at 6%? And so that's what happens a lot with retargeting. And I don't want you to be like me, where I made the same mistake. That's why I do these tips, so you aren't like me and you don't make the same mistakes that I did. You can actually improve and make fewer mistakes. So with retargeting, that's when this kind of lack of effort, lack of testing really kicks in. Because most retargeting campaigns, I wouldn't say all, but are much more likely to be profitable than cold traffic, right? Let's just agree to that. That retargeting campaigns, by their very nature and definition, it's a warmer audience. They've already taken action and interest, and they're going to convert higher. And you're usually going to make more money with retargeting than you are with cold traffic. And so most people make a lot of their money with retargeting. Therefore, they do less of their testing on retargeting because it's inherently more profitable, and they want to spend their time on the cold traffic stuff. What I'm here to say is that imagine if you could just imagine this. What would it do to your business if your retargeting campaigns, all your retargeting ads, brought in 2 times as much cash every day, every week, every month? What would that do for your business, right? What would that do for your KPIs and your metrics and your break-even CPAs on the cold traffic? What would that do for your business? I want you to imagine that. And if you ask that question to most people, they're going to say it would be a game changer, right? Even if my retargeting ROI or ROAS went up by 40%, 50%, it would have a massive impact on my entire business. So what I want to do in this video is talk through some ways to do that. And really the biggest way, and we're going to break out elements of that, is to take that personalization element from the cold traffic video and incorporate that into retargeting. Because let's face it, not every single person that completes a generic action on your site is the same and has the same objections, right? Just because somebody abandoned the cart doesn't mean they abandoned the cart for the same reason as the other person who abandoned the cart. And also, somebody that abandons a cart who's a 18-year-old girl is, very different than a 54-year-old male, right? They're just different people. And so if you can start to identify trends, and again, those personal identifiers about why do your, 18-year-old female customers buy products or not buy products? Why do your older men customers buy these products, buy not buy these products? Why do customers in the US versus Canada, right, depending on how diverse your targeting is, let's say you're doing multiple countries, why do they abandon the cart? and making various abandoned cart campaigns, at least various ad sets with those different buckets that all have slightly different variations of that abandoned cart campaign, right? Because remember, they're different people, they have different needs, different desires, different income levels, different needs to have a solution, different reasons why they need a solution. And so we want to start measuring that. And that's, usually I was going to save this for another tip of the day, but I'll kind of talk about it right here. One of the ads that we love running is a kind of post abandonment campaign. So once somebody's totally fallen out of our funnel, meaning they've kind of gone the entire length, that usually once people pass that time, they don't buy. And we hit those people with an ad asking for feedback, because most people, they survey their customers. They ask their customers, why did you buy? And that's useful information, right? I'm not saying it's not useful and you shouldn't do it, but they're going to tell you something that you're already doing because they bought, right? So inherently, whatever they're going to say, something that's already been done, therefore you can't improve it or make it better. I mean, sure, you could make it a little better, but like you can't put something in place that's going to do anything because it's already there. I want to know why the people that didn't buy, so I can actually put something in place. And so if I can start talking to customers, non-customers, prospects, and understand their needs, wants, and desires, I can begin to personalize the retargeting at all points in the funnel for those big buckets, right? Different genders, different ages, different geos. Those are just the big ones. But you could even go as far as say, hey, somebody that's on Facebook is different than somebody on Instagram, right? So maybe there's different angles you take on those platforms because the people that use them are different and the way they use them is different, right? Maybe I'm creating a quicker, story-based abandoned retargeting campaign for my, younger demographic, and then I have a longer form video on Facebook for my older demographic. It's just really important to start thinking that way. And what happens, the more segmented your buckets get for your follow-up, right? This isn't just paid. This is also for organic, for email, for messenger, for text, for everything. The higher the success rate is, because you can talk in a more personalized, targeted fashion, and the person on the other end, again, this goes back to the first tip I did about personalization, feels like you're speaking to them more so than just this generic bucket of people that didn't buy my product, left, hey, here's a generic coupon. Even if you could do something as specific as like today's Mother's Day, if you ran a retargeting campaign this week, just targeting your female abandoned carts or female visitors, and you could filter in, the mom demographic, and you hit them with a special retargeting ad that featured moms in the video and had a special coupon code just for moms, and you said this is an offer just for moms, right? We know you haven't bought yet, and that's okay, but product X, we've helped thousands of moms solve problem Y, and we want to, say Happy Mother's Day to you by giving this special gift. Something like that is dramatically going to outperform just a generic retargeting campaign, even just a generic holiday retargeting campaign where you're hitting everybody, because the person on the other end sees that you're going through the effort to talk specifically to them, right? Now, obviously, that's a broader example, but you could be doing that throughout the year for those different target groups. And again, because it's more personalized, you're going to get more success. Now, the challenge, and this is why I think most people don't do this, one, it's more work, right? And that's obvious. You're going to be creating more variations of ads. You're going to be creating more ad sets. You're going to be, maybe spending a little more money, even though you shouldn't, because you can run smaller budgets for all of these. So it's really just, slices of the whole. The whole doesn't get bigger. You're just hitting the different slices. If anything, you might be able to get away with running smaller budgets because the results are going to be more impressive, right? But this also goes to like email, right? So and this is again another problem I have, and I don't want you to be like me, because again, this is another mistake that I've made for a long, long time. Everyone on email is tempted to send emails to the most people possible, right? We're just programmed that, hey, I don't want to send this to just a few people. I have 20,000 people on my email list. I want to send my email to all 20,000, right? Regardless of who's in that 20,000, regardless of how active they are, inactive they are, who they are, where they are in a funnel, I want to send the message to everybody because that's, in my mind, going to make me the most money. The truth is that is probably the worst thing you could do. And that's the worst thing I could have done for a long time. And that's why people get such terrible open rates on emails nowadays, because they're sending to everybody, right? And so most of those people don't want to get emails anymore. They're not engaged, not interested. They haven't engaged with email in weeks or months. Then you're also hitting more spam traps. You're getting, more negative feedback because those metrics are so terrible. That's getting looked at and analyzed. And so it's hurting your deliverability. It's hurting your domain reputation, and it's making it harder to reach the actual people who want to hear from you. So it creates this really, really slippery slope and this vicious circle where it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And you keep then sending to more and more people because the results are getting worse. And so the answer is I got to send to more people. Once you start segmenting and once you start getting personalized in the follow-up, either in retargeting or email or any type of follow-up, the results improve. So even just now, we made a dramatic shift on our email marketing for Unicorn Innovations. And we went from sending, our tip of the day emails to everybody, right? So everybody on our email list, to just segments of people that have engaged with emails in the last 5 emails, right? So people that have clicked or opened or applied to one of the last 5 emails. And so we only sent the email out to 5,000 people, but we had a 30% open rate, right? We had a 4% click-through rate. We had a much lower unsubscribe rate. We're getting more replies. And so ironically, we actually had more opens sending just to that segment of our list than we did in total sending to the entire list a few weeks ago. So it's hard to overcome that psychologically of like, I want to hit the biggest bucket because that's where I assume I'm going to make the most money. And that's like human nature. It's instinct. We need to reprogram that and break that habit and start thinking about, it's not about volume. It's not about the size. It's about the results. That's the only thing that should matter is, at the end of the day, how much money is this ad making? How much money is this email making? And if the answer is more, then that's the way we need to go. And the data shows that the way to make more money is to actually deliver more personalized messages to more targeted, valuable, and engaged audiences. So that's what I want you to start doing. I want you to start taking a look at your email, your messenger, your retargeting, all of those buckets right now that you're kind of just hitting big buckets with big messages because that's what you've been programmed to do. And I want you to take a step back and think about, how can I slice those audiences up? It doesn't have to be into 100 audiences or even 30, 20, 15. It could just be 5 or 6 different buckets. It could be 3 or 4 different buckets. But as long as you're beginning to start that process of filtering and segmentation, your ROI, your engagement rates, your quality scores, all of that stuff is going to go up. And more importantly, your profit, your ROAS is going to increase as well. So that's tip of the day number 12. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you tomorrow for tip number 13.